So this is going to be your 1.1G part 2 notes. And this is practice. So if you're trying to be mindful, this is going to be page 21 in your notes. Okay, so on part 2, the reason why I want to go over this with you is that notice that this is in years, right? And when you put years in the calculator, it tends to make your numbers very big. Okay, so what we teach you to do is to create it as a starting point. So for your years here, this is going to be your 0. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So if you have like a year's problem on the test, we just go about how many years
We just
are in between.
Or how far is it from your starting? Okay. Remember, we're going to force the 0. Okay. What this does is it minimizes our quadratic. It makes it easier for us to analyze, and we all are able to subtract, right? So we should be able to work from there. Okay, so it says here, use a graphing utility to create a scatter plot of the data. Examine the data table and scatter plot. What do you notice about the wind power capacity? Does it increase, decrease? Does the data look like it's going to be a linear, exponential, or quadratic model? Okay, and we've talked about all of these different models, and we know which one is going to be based on their shape, right? If it's linear, we're looking at a line, correct? If it's quadratic, we're looking at a parabola of some sort, correct? And if it's exponential, we're looking at a curved increase, correct? So we all understand what each shape of our 3 main functions look like. Good? All right, so we're going to do this one is handheld, right? We're on the handheld now. If you are more comfortable with Desmos, you don't have to pay attention to the handheld. You do it in Desmos. If you are a person who said you wanted to do it in the handheld, here we go. I'm going to always reset my calculator. Second plus 712. Step 1 is I have to input my data. So I'm going to go to stat. I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to input my X values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm going to input my Y values 40 and 267,000, 46 and 916,000, 60 and 5,000, 61 and 107,000, 65 and 880,000, 74 and 471,000, 82, 171,000, 89 and 78,000, 96 and 487,000, 105 and 583,000, 122 and 465,000. Okay. Again, if your decimal's true and true, what do? Do what you're comfortable with. My job is to give you the tools. Your job is to pick the one you like. Okay. All right. So once I have all of my values in, I'm going to look at the scatter plot. In order to look at the scatter plot on a TI-84, I have to go to Y equals, and I have to turn on the plot. See where it says plot? Oh. Well, I see it. So I'm going to arrow up to plot and hit enter. Now that it's bold and blinking, that lets me know that my plot is on. Okay. To see the points, I'm going to go to zoom, and I'm going to go to stat. That's because I'm telling the calculator I want you to only focus on my data. Okay. So here we go again. We were at stat edit. Yes. After we left stat edit, we went to Y equals and turned on our plot. To turn on the plot, you arrow up, you press enter, and your plot should be turned on. Now that my plot is turned on, I'm going to press zoom, and I'm going to go to zoom stat by pressing 9 to see my points.
How you trace them?
We're not tracing them right now. Okay?
No, I mean,
You can't trace these. There's no point in tracing them. Okay? Yes. Are we good? So we went stat, edit, boom, y equals, turned on our plot, zoom, 9 points. Now, analyze this. What do you think I have here? A linear
Or maybe next week.
or an exponential, okay? Does it feel quadratic? No, it does not feel like quadratic. It could be half of a quadratic. You never know. It could be the one-sided, right? So when it comes down to me determining which one I need, I'm going to need to look at the what value? Your
Oh, it's flat.
your r squared, right? We need to look at our r squared. So, based on what we see, we strongly feel what? Do we strongly feel that it's going to be linear, quadratic, or exponential? We're going with linear. Okay, so we're saying strong linear. And it's going to be a positive linear. Okay, that's what we're going with. So we're going to test it out. Remember, when you're testing it out, it says to determine, we're going to have to find our r squared of each value, correct? So we're going to find the r squared for linear. We're going to find the r squared for a quadratic. And we're going to find the r squared of our exponential. And we're going to see which one is the winner. Cool? Now, when you're on TI-84, in order to see that r squared, your mode has to change. So we're going to take our mode. First off, I'm already here, so I'm going to make the calculator round for me. But I need to turn on my diagnostics. Otherwise, it will not tell me my r squared. So I went to mode, and I came down here where it says stat diagnostics, and I'm going to turn on my... Okay, this is the difference between Desmos and 84. Desmos automatically tells you your r squared, correct? So it automatically tells it. Your 84 has to be say, I want you to tell it. Yes.
They're all are.
All are r squared, yes. Okay. So I turned that on and
Wait, what mode?
I went to mode and went down to stat
Okay.
diagnostics.
On?
Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to calculate. So I'm going to do my first one. I'm going to find my linear regression, stat calc, and I'm going to do 4 for linear regression. Press 4. Yes, I want you to calculate. It's going to think about it. And it says my r squared for linear regression is what?
0.978.
So we get a 0.978 for linear regression. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to check for the quadratic. So I'm going to go stat, calc, and I'm going to go to quadratic. Quadratic is going to be 5. Going to calculate. And for quadratic, I got, ooh, we said a strong linear, but what is happening? Is linear winning right now? No, what's winning? Quadratic. Okay, now we're going to test our exponential, stat, calc. And remember, I can't see exponential. It's our 0. So I either can press 0 or I can scroll down until I see it. Does that make sense? I'm going to press 0 on exponential. I want it to calculate. And for exponential, I get
0.979.
who's the winner? Quadratic. And then I go forth from there. Okay. And then I write my quadratic function. I do my modeling and all of that. All right. Okay. I modeled both. So you have your choice. Got it? What you pick is up to you. All right. Study, study, study. I'm ready. Make sure you have your notes.